Today we are in town, Honolulu. For you people that don't know, we call this town. And we're gonna stay in Mauka. We're gonna go into some of these mountains and valleys. I don't know if we'll get to everyone, but we're starting here on Wilhelmina Rise, and we're gonna make it all the way to the Pali or Nu'uanu. What would you call this video?
Town, Mauka side. Town, broke your legs. Town, cannot walk uphill. Town, ride the brakes.
We're going with none of that. Look at people, what would you call this? If you're gonna go from Wilhelmina to the Pali and never cross H1, so we'll probably get into Waialae, maybe dive into Manoa a little bit. You just showed one a few days ago in Palolo, so we could go to the back of Palolo. We chose Wilhelmina as the start of town. Is that appropriate? Because if you go past this, you're really Kahala, right?
To me, that's not town. Kahala is Kahala.
So Diamond Head is that point that separates really town and Kahala. Where would town end for you?
Kalihi?
Would you include Kalihi?
I think so.
Okay,
or maybe
local-
right before that, Paoa?
Nu'uanu, right? On the
Yeah.
end caps of today is Wilhelmina to Pali.
Yeah.
Kalihi's different, Kahala's different, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let me just do you a favor.
What?
I'll just do this for you.
No, go ahead, stand on the curb
since
so
you
you don't
like to
feel so
wear-
insecure. Even better.
Since you like to wear heels. Anyway, we were up at really the top of Wilhelmina in terms of real estate. And then we just came down a little bit to the park to show you these views. Oahu is not like Kona,
Maui.
West Maui,
Yeah.
other places where there's these perched up hills right next to the ocean. There's not a lot of that on Oahu. Where there is that tends to be from Hawaii Kai to town, to where we're going today. You're not like that close to the ocean, but the views are amazing. I know some people in there like, concrete jungle, junk, and yeah, I get that. It would be nicer without all the buildings, but this is Oahu. We're far past that. It's Honolulu is a city. Real estate around here. That house we were at is actually on the market for closer to $2 million. Amazing views, big perched up balcony.
Yeah, that's the thing about Wilhelmina or all these houses over here. You're gonna see a lot of decks on the Diamond Head side of the home.
You have to.
Yeah, big, huge bay windows.
You can't not.
Yeah.
Houses on this hill, for the most part, all single family. Might be a few multi-family situations, some house hack sort of things. And then down towards Waialae, you get to see some condos. But single families at the bottom of the hill might be in the 1.1-ish for something smaller and a little more outdated. And then a little north of 2 million.
Further up the top.
Is kind of the threshold.
Yeah.
There are probably some comparable sales closer to 3, but for the most part, a little over 1 to a little over 2. A lot of that has to do with this view. So we're gonna stop, get some of the bougiest, highest quality coffee on Oahu.
Yeah.
And then head into a totally different thing.
But also, keep in mind, if you're looking in Wilhelmina, if you are an apprehensive driver like I am, this may not be the neighborhood for
It's a
you.
generous adjective to use for apprehensive driver.
Or a bad driver.
Bad
If you're not a great driver, yeah, it could be difficult. I mean, I like dread doing showings up here. I have to parallel park on a steep hill. It's just impossible for me.
And here's another thing too. Although generally, as I've heard from contractors and stuff, the foundation, the rock that you're building on here is solid. Also, depending on where the home's located, rain runoff. I've met people that have bought homes. They're like, I had to redo the concrete
Trench.
and I had to trench this and I had to route away because the home was flooding a lot more than I ever thought it would because of the winter rains, etc. So those are all things to consider when you're living on any hill, anywhere, but especially this area. One of our clients lives just a stone's throw away over there. And you were saying their contractor, the Bobcat flip?
Yeah, it like flipped over. So you have to go up the steep hill and then turn down kind of like a flag lot to go in there. And it's not that wide, you know? So somehow the maneuvering didn't work. And I just get a picture of like, oh, Wilhelmina kind things, you know, like.
Did they say that?
I think so.
Oh, they're learning pidgin. Hawaiian word of the day? Huli.
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 You know
Huli
what
maka
it is.
flip.
You can say huli maka flip. You can guess.
Hey, I look like Mahe and park my truck.
Look at how far away.
So the reason why I stopped here on 9th and Keanu, there's a view of Palolo all the way into the valley. It's a whole different world in that pocket, way in the depths, right?
Yeah.
And then Palolo over here is a few things. Because I was doing circles waiting for you guys, I came over here and I was like, you know what? Palolo actually has some quaint charm.
Yeah.
So like, look at this,
With
look
the
at
awning.
that. Look at that. Plumeria trees.
Yeah.
Taking good care of the grass.
Some of these houses are cute.
That one needs a little bit more work. If you go a little bit more this side of Palolo, more easements per capita than anywhere, right?
Yeah.
A lot of shared driveways. My cousin guys used to live in one where, and I was always like, is it this one? No, is it this one? Oh, is it this one? Oh, it's this one. And there's like 4 houses.
And 4 mailboxes on the side.
Palolo's got a lot of that.
Yeah.
And if you look at the TMKs, look at the parcels, there's all these long, it's like, oh, 8,000 square foot. But
it's all driveway.
5 foot wide, 8,000 square foot. There's St. Louis Heights, Wilhelmina. It's like, it's this valley be in town.
It has jungle vibes, like some places in Manoa have, but it's different.
Only deep back there, right?
Yeah.
And you can even see it, like it's dry here.
Yeah.
And then only deep in the valley. And the way the rain comes over from the east side, it
like
catches Manoa.
Stops right there.
Yeah, like it misses Palolo a lot.
We went all the way up to the back
For this last showing?
for the last showing
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
Like very quiet, lots of bamboo everywhere.
There's some creeks and streams.
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
it's like
It
Kalihi
was
Valley-ish almost.
kind of, yeah. It has like a Iao Valley feel up there too.
Iao Valley.
But you know
Maui.
what? Plenty of
Maui.
mosquitoes though.
Of course,
Yeah,
it's wet. They're
choke
wet
mosquitoes
and lush.
everywhere, but super nice and not what you'd expect for like town.
But if you wanted a single family, small cottage style plantation home, single family, and you were like, I want to find something under $1 million in town, probably gonna be Makai Palolo. Gonna be in front of the valley Palolo.
I mean, could you find something here for under $1 million now?
You could. And you know why? I just checked the MLS.
Was it like dilapidated or how was the condition?
I didn't verify. It was like
Yeah.
950, 985. Probably not the best condition, smaller plantation home.
Yeah.
But Palolo is where you're gonna find it if that's what you wanted. Shout outs to the Palolo Housing Boys, Palolo Boxing Gym. My cousin lived here, so you know.
Shout out to the curb. Thank you. I got myself a little kinako cookie. Leave us a comment if you know what kinako is.
In terms of walkable places, Palolo, Waialae, the condo buildings around here, which you could get into in like the 300,000s in some of them. This is one of the most walkable parts of all of Oahu.
Yeah.
Sandwiched between two of the least walkable parts of all of Oahu because they're mountains. Put in the comments for me a city that has a little bit like a little bit of grit, but also like a bit of like hipster elevation.
Yeah.
I equate it to like Temescal and like Berkeley, San Pablo Avenue, something like that in California. There might be a yoga studio, a crystal shop, also like a diner that's been there since your dad's
Also like
days.
a chop suey restaurant and a crack seed shop.
Happy Days, overrated dim sum in my opinion.
Oh, easy.
Jasmine and Albert.
I
Sorry,
never
Jasmine.
been, but I know how people go to bat for their dim sum. You know what? It's kind of almost like crossbreed between Chinatown and KAKA'AKO. It's like how Chinatown has like cool stuff that just pops up.
You're not as bougie as KAKA'AKO, but then you're not quite as Hotel Street as Chinatown. Different kind of concrete jungle here.
Yeah. So we started in Wilhelmina. We drove you guys up Palolo, skipped St. Louis Heights. Manoa, I feel like Manoa is one of the most desirable, if not the most desirable. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
We've made Manoa videos before, so check those out. We'll put a link in the description.
I'm gonna see if I can set you up for like a rapid fire. 1 or 2 words. When you think of Manoa, you think of
UH, historic homes, chimneys, woodlawn, valleys, rain, fertile soil, things grow everywhere, expensive price points, banyan trees, terrible street parking, narrow driveways.
Well, to the point of no need sidewalk.
Plenty of space.
Yeah.
Plenty space.
When we're doing our first Manoa video we ever did, Kenji and I are walking around and I'm like, Berkeley, like Carmel in California, like Asheville, North Carolina is, but it's like not a mountain town like Colorado. And then I was like, off camera I go, wealthy liberals. Because it's a university town, but then there's a lot of wealth, like Berkeley. I don't like to get taxed as much. I don't want government to be as big. That's how it kind of tends to where I be politically. But I want the food, and the coffee shops and the culture and the architecture in those wealthy liberal towns. And so Manoa is like our closest thing to that. Last time we were shooting here, we saw former mayor, there's other politicians, other estates of, you know, names, family names that are prominent. One thing we didn't mention is private schools. Punahou is at the mouth of Manoa.
Yeah.
Marino.
Yeah, super close.
Right around here.
Yeah. But you know what? Plenty of kids from Kailua go to Punahou too.
In our business, people are like, oh, I like Manoa, but we're also looking at Kailua. We just closed a deal north of $4 million with a family who is like, we love Manoa. We would want to be in Manoa, but we're choosing Kailua for the beach factor and the kids. We think the kids would have a better experience there, but if for us, they would have liked Manoa. And obviously they had the finances and the power to choose any neighborhood they wanted.
Which is crazy because Manoa and Kailua aren't similar really. They're different, but the way they're the same is that you feel like you're in Hawaii in either place. You get to be up here where it's super lush, you have rain coming through all the time, you got rainbows happening all the time.
All day rainbows.
You're close to town and you're not, like, you can't see the ocean from here because it's pretty level unless you're up, you know, up high on one of the ridges. But you're not that far from the beach either.
Only because I lived on the mainland and I came to appreciate the Berkeleys and the Carmels and the and I've been to Boulder. And only because I've come to appreciate those towns do I see Manoa? And I see why someone who could buy for that amount would be like, I like Manoa. Every city has like this pocket that you forget you're like in the city and maybe close to other important things, but the way it's protected or tree line, you just feel like you're not.
Yeah.
Manoa is that thing. Can we appreciate this tree?
Yeah, I mean, I want to have a clear blue sky, sunny day, but just have like a massive, beautiful banyan tree, hundreds of years old, to shade my home.
It's not a banyan tree.
Monkey pod tree.
I was like, wait, let me down. I just came back from Colorado 3 weeks ago. Like, that's how it was looking. Like, leaves just starting to change colors. We don't get that in Hawaii. Like, we don't get leaves changing colors, but Manoa would be the place where you're experiencing like a fall, autumn type of situation. There's a different feel in Manoa for sure. When you get into MAKIKI, especially, a lot of condos and a lot more affordable condos because you're not in Ward, you're not in KAKA'AKO, you're not on Kapiolani Boulevard, Ala Moana kind things, right?
It's not exactly like walkable. I guess if you're all the way at the top, you could go down Ward Avenue and get down there, but you hiking.
No, yeah.
See, this is an immediate no for me because the hill and the drive.
Yeah, and it's like you're doing the same hill as Wilhelmina, but none of the benefit.
And you're right by the freeway.
Here in the Punch Bowl area, it can change block to block. I used to have to park up here and walk to the hospital, right, when I was in that field, and it can get really dicey where you feel unsafe.
Yeah.
And then it can also feel kind of elevated.
Yeah.
So speaking of feeling elevated, we're gonna head uphill. So as with any city, right, as with like town, any city, things change quickly in the densely populated areas. I've never been to like a Chicago, but I'm sure there's areas of Chicago where like 2 blocks that way, total different experience than over here. You know what, we were in escrow on a home like this. There were 2 homes on one lot, huge tree connecting them, but it was like termite ridden. They had electrical from the 20s, but there is Dowsett Point. We have a listing coming up in here. Someone from our YouTube channel reached out and they were like, oh, we love your videos. This is Dowsett Point, and we have a listing coming up here soon. So if you are out there and you want to live in town, you want to live near Punch Bowl, this is a unique property. I can't give the exact details and address because we have rules. Like until I put it on the market, we can't, advertise it. But we have a property coming up here. When I first moved back home, my coworkers when I worked at the hospital were like, Shimazu has the best syrup. I actually never had Shimazu. This will be my first day having Shimazu.
Let's go.
This is my first time having Shimazu.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See what you think of the syrups. You're gonna order some dumb stuff. Lihing pickle mango and lihing apple. I gotta do.
I know what I'm gonna order, and I know it's gonna piss Mahe off.
What?
Nothing.
Is it gonna make me mad?
Okay, can I have a small, please, with ice cream, creamy halpia topping? Let's do that too. Vanilla, red cream soda, and chocolate peanut butter cup.
Why would you get that?
What you can get?
Can I get a keiki with lihing drizzle and powder, lihing pickle mango, and lihing apple?
Just those 2 flavors?
Yep. You don't like the lihing apple?
No. How come mine only 2 colors? Oh, that's major though. Try that.
The hopia?
Just go like that.
No. You hate mine. I hate yours.
I think Wyola's, although they win the softness contest, is too soft.
It's too soft. On a hot day, you get it. It's
Cup.
like melted.
Yeah.
Already.
Look, bleeding to death.
Show yours. Show yours.
Bleeding to death.
And local people, what's your top 3 in order? Rank them in order. Top 3. This makes it into my top 3. I hate to say it, but I gotta go Ululani's first too, since they came over, and then Mountain Magic or whatever. So we're in Nu'uanu, in no particular place. We're just driving. We decided to turn somewhere. These are Nu'uanu vibes. So I was saying earlier, Manoa and Nu'uanu, although not the same, there is like some overlap. Why is there overlap to you?
Because it just is a wetter valley that's quiet and like very close to town, but also very far from town somehow, tucked away.
Yeah.
It leads into a ridge. It's nice and wet. The trees just grow like crazy here. And the houses are really pretty well taken care of up here. I've never actually driven this far up here before. Kind of when you get closer to the freeway, things can sometimes...
That's Poa.
Yeah, things can sometimes be a little bit mixed bag. Like a Manoa, like most of these houses, you're like, oh wow, they really take care up there.
Yeah. For me, I'll be a bit outrageous. It's totally different in that there's nothing to do here. It's not flat. It's not walkable. There's no store or mountain with homes. In that sense, it's more like Wilhelmina or something. It's like Manoa in that it's lush, and also in that half the kids plus going Punahou, Iolani. These kids may be going Roosevelt. Dylan, the one I told you about,
Yeah.
They lived up here, and he went to Roosevelt. Well, and you think Nu'uanu, you think of the stream. There's like a catfish place where you can just go and pretty much catch.
The rock that you can jump off. Like, I don't know what like the Hawaiian name is, or like the nice but it was called Jackass Ginger.
Jackass Ginger, yeah.
Growing up.
So you think fresh water flowing towards town, right? Homes here can range all over the place. In this general vicinity down the hill, there's like the Japanese consulate, the Korean consulate, the representatives of those places living here, like those kinds of things up here too.
Like if somebody comes and says, I'm looking at Nu'uanu, or like we're going to Nu'uanu, you just kind of assume down there, condos and down in town, you know, like.
You are? Not me. Because my friends lived up here, right?
See, well, you knew somebody up here.
And you can be in downtown 5 minutes. So
yeah, so close.
Right there. You'll probably be at Kailua Beach in maybe 15 minutes.
Depends what the traffic
minutes?
looks like on the Pali. There's not a lot going on, like, you know, there's no stores, whatever. There's like cool, like nature things.
Quiet charm.
Yeah, it's got like a charm. It's got like hiking trails. Pali Lookout right around the corner.
Cooler, cloudier, wetter, but then sunny, hot town right down there. So when I was in the Coast Guard, I had this really good group of friends, mostly from Guam. When we were still in California, they got stationed in Hawaii, and they're like, oh, hit me up, you know, come by. We live in Nu'uanu. I was like, Nu'uanu? I know your housing allowance ain't like that. And they're like, yeah. Our other friend from Guam, shout outs to Jenna and Mark. They're like, oh yeah, we're living in the auntie's house. Weird layout, not master designed home, but the fact that it's in Nu'uanu. On the other side of this home, they have a large porch, back porch area, ocean views. Don't have to water the grass because it's either wet or misty. Like these mountains, the Pali over here, this community. I show up and I'm like, whoa. How the hell do you have a house like this? When I think of Nu'uanu, I think of this house specifically. The serenity here, the quietness, just all of it. If you're interested in anything, Hawaii real estate, or even have a mainland real estate need that you need a referral for, go to coreteamhawaii.com, go to the very bottom of the page, fill out the contact information, and my assistant will reach out, or I will reach out as soon as possible.